Okay, so thank you for having me today. Let me just turn this on. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about ChatGPT and the poverty of information in education. So the poverty of information, this is taken from the original idea came from Chomsky's poverty of stimulus, which is an argument in linguistics why children are able to learn the language without sufficient input. There is some innateness going on in the human brain. So this is an idea from linguistics that language can develop without enough stimuli. But in education, we want information. We have poverty of information, but this is negative poverty relative to poverty of stimulus. And we will see how the emerging technologies can possibly help us address this issue. So in 2015, there was this study with the title Computer-Based Personality Judgments Are More Accurate Than Those Made by Humans. And this study looked at the digital footprints of their participants. So digital footprints include things like web browsing logs, web search inquiries, purchase records, etc., etc. The things that you leave behind you when you use the internet. One of them is Facebook likes. Things, if you like a post, and if you see a post on Facebook and you like it, you click the like button. This is also a digital footprint. So the researchers wanted to see whether they are able to tell your personality from your digital footprint, only the likes, not any of the other footprints, just the likes alone. Are they able to know about you and about your personality? And can they do it better than other humans around you also? And surprise, surprise, it took only 10 likes for the computer to analyze 10 likes to be able to know about your personality more than your coworkers. And it took 70 likes to know your personality more than your friends. And it took 150 likes to know your personality better than family members, including father or children. And around 300 likes to know you better than your spouse, which is kind of scary. So much information lying about you on the internet that even the closest people around you don't know. So the researchers say that in the future, people might abandon their own psychological judgments and rely on computers when making important life decisions, such as choosing activities, career paths, or even romantic partners. It's possible that such data-driven decisions will improve people's lives. Now, I'm not going to talk about selecting partners or other things. We are focusing here on education. And can we somehow use this to improve education? There is poverty of, I'm going to come back to this, and there is so much scare about these technologies, so much panic. And if you look at the literature on ChatGPT in the past few months, there is so much panic, like, the college essay is dead, and ChatGPT and the end of exam integrity. ChatGPT and cheating, ensuring academic integrity in the era of ChatGPT. Again, it's about exams. And, sometimes authors get heated and, even the titles, you can see the tone of their articles. So these are legitimate concerns, but we should also devote some of our attention to how to improve education in the classroom. So this image was generated by AI. You can see here, this is the sign. And in the traditional classroom, it's not unusual to have classes with 30 plus students. And it's not unusual for a teacher, a single teacher, to have multiple of these classes also. Now, if parents ask about their kids, so if one parent comes and asks about their kid, how is the kid doing in a particular area of the curriculum, what is the answer going to be? It's very difficult. Are you going to write, as a teacher, are you going to rely on your memory? Are you going to have extensive notes about each and every child in each and every class you have? And then we have bias against average kids. As human beings, we tend to remember brilliant students easily. We tend to remember the weakest students easily, but the majority of average students, we tend to forget about them because they are just average students. This is where the poverty of information comes. Why can't we implement the technology used to analyze your digital footprint online, which is used for marketing purposes primarily? And this has been the case for a long time, not just with the introduction of ChatGPT. Facebook and Twitter and other websites. Why is Facebook free? Why is Twitter free? If they are not selling you a product, then you are the product. They are using your information and then, using it for marketing and other purposes. Why can't we use this in the classroom to diagnose what each student is doing and their problems and how they are progressing? And we have rich data about each and every child in the classroom, and we can track their progress. We can do this. If marketers can do it, then we should do it in our classrooms. There is so much concern about exams and exam integrity and plagiarism. But if we look at it on the other side, education should prepare kids to the real world. If students will start asking sooner or later, and parents will start asking sooner or later, why do we have to learn this borderline arbitrary English spelling, for example? We have spell checkers everywhere. Why do we have to devote all this energy to learn English spelling? In the real world, I can spell check my writing. I can only spend like 5% of that energy on this, the words that even spell checkers will get wrong because of similarity, etc., etc. Then I can use the remaining energy on something else. If after I finish school, I have a job and I have to write emails, for example, or reports, if the average person would be able to write, a few letters an hour, somebody who has training with ChatGPT and other technologies will be able to write 10 times more than that. So people who do not have this skill, employees who do not have this skill, will be at a disadvantage. It's just like you don't have computer literacy. Imagine an employee who cannot use Word, Microsoft, or PowerPoint, or Outlook, or email, or something like that. So there are many institutions that banned ChatGPT and other technologies because they have been unable to accommodate these technologies into their curriculum. But this is a problem. It's more like the tail wagging the dog. Sooner or later, you have to change. If your curriculum doesn't reflect the real world, then you are basically wasting your students' time. Your education is inauthentic and doesn't help in the real world. So sooner or later, we will have to have a complete overhaul of our curricula in order to be more authentic to the real world that students will go to in the future. So I kept it this brief because it's the end of the session. Thank you.
All right. If you have any questions, you can write in the chat box and Ali is here to answer them. Okay.
When and how will this mindset be changed? It will have to change sooner or later. And institutions that do not change fast enough, if they are for profit, they will start losing profit, and ministries of education should take the lead to incorporate these technologies in their curricula. Because there are ethical concerns, there are privacy concerns. If ministries of education are the ones who take the lead on this and assure teachers about the confidentiality of information, etc., then we will have more positive attitudes from parents on these technologies.
Okay, so you are saying that AI is a threat to physical teaching. Somebody's asking about that.
Sorry?
So AI is a threat to physical teaching. There's a question related to that. Do you think AI is
it's going to have a huge impact. If now the average teacher now may teach like 20 or 30 students at college level. It's not difficult to find lecturers who have 80 or 100 students per class. With these technologies, it would be so easy to have 300 students, 400 students, 500 students in one go, and you can track each and every individual, how they are doing, what aspects of the curriculum they are struggling with, how they are progressing. You can do this. It's just a matter of time before this happens. So we will still need teachers, but not as many of them, perhaps.
okay? Okay, do you have any successful applications for technology with your students?
Well, there were some questions previously about the different tools, but most AI tools you see online are based on ChatGPT. So they take the ChatGPT data set, they have access to it, they most likely have to pay OpenAI, and then customize their tool to do a specific task. So most of them are based on ChatGPT anyway, just use different tasks, more specific tasks.
Okay, so you mentioned about the poverty of information. What about the lack of information AI is going to rack on us?
So the poverty of information here is a problem for education. It's not, if you have 80 students in the class, for example, and you are at college level, then it's hard for you to even remember the names of your students. You have one semester to go, and then you come give your lecture and leave. But with these tools, if you can analyze, let's call it the digital footprint of your students, then you can track the progress and give exact diagnostics for each student you have. And then you can give them customized instruction. You can follow up with the weaker ones, the ones who are struggling. You can even have the well-performing students teaching the low-performing students and have them link them up with each other. And then you can monitor whether this process is successful or not. You need to adapt it or not, and so on.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Ali. Okay. So this is a question for all the other panelists. If Ali is here, you can answer this question. That Diana says that there was a time when knowledge was found in the books and teachers had that knowledge to transit to the kids. This was the reason our grannies and parents would go to school. But now knowledge is everywhere. So why students should go to school? Do you all agree with the idea of deschooling society by Ivan Lillich? Any panelist can answer?
So the idea of educational institutions at the end of the day is to give you a certificate to certify that you have certain amount of knowledge in a specific area. And this will still be the function of educational institutions, whether it's Q12, K12, or college level. And so if you are an employer, for example, and you want to employ somebody, how can you tell the candidates? How can you tell, this from that? This will be more like a shortcut to tell, which candidates have the training and the skills you need for a specific job.
Yes, I agree with few of the people here that there is a social interaction, happens in school as well. So that is also very important. That the social interaction, because human is a social animal and we need interaction. All right, so thank you all for attending, and we are actually closing this on time.